A quick look at the Pokemon market and we can see that prices are incredibly high, but the real question is, when will the market just calm down? Because since 2024, Pokemon cards have literally gone up in a straight green line upwards, with only a tiny drawback at the end of 2025. And what's so crazy is that you could even argue that that wasn't even much of a drawback, because when you think of the time when all those drops started happening. Because like, I've been running this channel for well over 2 years now, and I've noticed a pretty significant trend, because usually at the end of the year, around November to, you know, the end of December, collectors are not really that primarily focused on Pokemon cards during that period. There seems to be a bit of a winding down period, which makes sense, right? It's the holiday season, family, Christmas, the whole lot. Though interest always begins spiking right back up again in January, and that usually also coincides with some of the best releases of the year. Early January sets are known to be some of the biggest sets of the year. If you look in January of 2023, it was Crown Zenith. Then you had Paldean Fates in 2024, Prismatic Evolutions in 2025, and Ascended Heroes in 2026. And I mean, just by looking at that list, you can see the quality of those January sets. So look, the real point I'm trying to make here is that it just felt like the market never actually calmed down at all, because like I said, that late 2025 drop was more than likely just the natural end of year winding down period. And now we can see 2026 is here, and wow, prices are coming up. And we really need to think of like, when is it gonna start calming down? All right, let's get into this topic. And right now I'm on the Charmander, the first partner illustrations, and it's selling for 45 US. Now the big question right now that everyone's saying is like, hey, when are prices going to calm down? When is there going to be a period when things just start relaxing a little bit? And a lot of people are asking that right now. People think I have the answer for that. Like, hey, Phil, when are prices go? I don't know, dude. Like, if I knew, man, it's like if I knew when interest rates were going to come down, I'd be a millionaire. Like, I wish I knew all these answers. But at the end of the day, when I'm thinking about this, I can only give you my predictions. And my predictions right now is, I never thought Pokemon cards would get to this point, to be honest. When I started this channel, right, I was like, yeah, Pokemon cards were in demand, but I could buy every set that I was talking about. It was just like genuinely such a big hobby. And when I invested in collectibles, that was a cool, unique thing that I figured out. I was like, wow, if I buy this Pokemon set, I can hold it for a little bit, and after 2 years, it starts rising in price. Oh, look, it doubled in price. That's not even I don't even feel that's unique knowledge anymore. Now it's like any set you buy, it just like triples. Give it a year. So I don't know, man. Like the hobby has really become a crazy space at the moment. But I do want to talk about this Charmander and a few Charmander cards in particular. Charmander is selling right now for $45. If we just go back here, you can see it was selling for $34. And if we go back to pretty much right here in March, it was selling for $25. So this Charmander is obviously very loved at the moment, but there is interesting things with Charmander as a Pokemon. And I've noticed here, I'm on the Charmander, the regular Elite Trainer Box promo from Obsidian Flames. So Obsidian Flames came out in 2023. This was one of the promo cards in the Elite Trainer Box, and I'll speak about the Pokemon Center ETB promo as well. But right here, I'm just looking in the last 3 months, you can see that the Charmander, this is not Pokemon Center version. The regular version is selling for $68. Dude, that's crazy, because that pretty much, if you bought it at retail price, just the promo is selling now more than the whole ETB is for retail price if you bought it in 2023. But yeah, crazy, I mean, right? It's selling for a fair bit of money. So the fact that Charmander is really getting these prices is insane. Now, I've moved on to the Pokemon Center stamped promo of the Charmander. There we go, we can see it was selling in April for $191. Right now, at the end of April, selling for $237. That's a fair bit of growth in a month. But what's crazy, if I pull this into the year graph, check this out, dude. Last year, the low point was 93. What a card, man. Now, you can see it did spike up all the way to 247, dropped down to 152, but it's recovered, man, 234. It's pretty much going right back to those banana level pricing. And what's insane about this is Charmander has become the starter Pokemon to look out for. It's obviously the first trio are always the ones to look out for in terms of investing. They're just... that's common knowledge at this point. But in terms of this, Charmander's really going through things. But you know what's crazy, man? When you look at the PSA 10 prices of this card. So I'm on the PSA 10 prices for this Charmander, the Pokemon Center version, and would you look at the banana level pricing there? $4,872 for a PSA 10 copy. That is crazy work, man. I don't know, I've never seen pricing like that, right? Just for one promo. So, I mean, if we go back to last year, what was it selling for? There you go, $1,340. So, yeah, 4.8K, 1.3K in a year. That's crazy work. Also, when you're looking at these prices, you've probably noticed the charts I've been using, and they're all sourced from Collector, who are the sponsors of today's video. Collector is a next generation collectible portfolio manager that accurately tracks and manages your entire collectible portfolio. Now, why Collector is so powerful is because not only is it a way to store your collectible information, it actually updates the pricing based on the real-time market. So this means over the months and the years, you can see how your collectibles are traveling. Now, if you do upgrade to Collector Pro, you do unlock a heap of benefits. One cool feature is the access to set analytics. So with set analytics, you get a lot of benefits. One of my favorites is the fact that you can see which set actually has the most wish-listed cards. The Pro membership also has a cool feature which lets you scan cards into your app using your phone's camera. All in all, Collector are the leaders when it comes to tracking and managing your collectibles. All the details to download the Collector app are in the video's description. I always appreciate Collector supporting the channel. A big thank you to them. Now let's get back into this video. Now moving on to the 151 Ultra Premium Collection. Obviously a very, very cool UPC. Pokemon 151 has gone through a massive boom in the last year. And as you can see on this graph, you're gonna see exactly how it's traveled. The 151 UPC is right now selling for a market high of $900. That is wild, man. These were selling in Costco. You could have got these. They couldn't get rid of these in early 2024. No joke, they could not get rid of these. And now it's selling for 900 US. If we travel all the way back down last year, it was selling for 347. So it has had very strong growth. And right now there's a lot of questions about 151. Even on my Discord, I can see a lot of people are saying, hey, Pokemon 151, it's a hot topic. Also, by the way, if you do, you can join my Discord as well. The invite's in the description, big Pokemon community there as well. Though it is insane to see the growth in just in 1 year. Look at that, $900, man, tripled in price. Or nearly tripled in price. But the fact is that the market's going through really strong growth. And that question, when will Pokemon prices calm down? At this stage, it's hard to see them having real big drops. I mean, could it go from 900 back to 300? At this point, it seems almost like a no-way scenario. It honestly seems like, no, now this is where Pokemon prices are here. You've either come along the ride or you've missed the train. It has gone really insane. Moving on to Destined Rivals booster box. It's obviously a really cool set. Destined Rivals is currently selling for $585 a booster box. If I pull that into the last 3 months, you can see Destined Rivals has also gone up quite a bit, right? Because it was selling for $473. So pretty much right there, looking like at $100 increase, right? Just in the last 3 months, which is definitely good for, I probably can't use the word recent for Destined Rivals like I used to. That's probably a loose word because it's approaching a year old at this point, but still, I mean, it's not an old set, right? It's in a lot of ways, it's still, a lot of collectors would still consider this a new set. So yeah, $586 is pretty wild work. And Evolving Skies, I remember when Evolving Skies hit 400, people were like, whoa, that's insane. And that happened a good, well and truly 2 years after it released. And this has just gone, yeah, insane levels. Now, moving on to Ascended Heroes. So we're looking at, in the last 3 months, the low point for Ascended Heroes was $105, and right now selling for $156, which, yeah, how much is Ascended Heroes going to continue to climb? To me personally, Ascended Heroes is a little bit of a set that I don't know how much you would want to overspend right now on it. That's personal opinion. I just think, yes, it's a fantastic set. Yes, the SIRs are incredible, but I'm predicting that it has to get reprinted more throughout this year. It just simply cannot go to those levels that quickly. It's fresh, man. It's a fresh set. Perfect Order obviously has probably put more passion and more drive on Ascended Heroes because there's a lot of disappointment with Perfect Order. The community hasn't had the most positive reception in terms of the collectible area. But in terms of Ascended Heroes, man, oh man, I actually feel Perfect Order has pushed Ascended Heroes even further because I feel like if you got a really good set after Ascended Heroes, maybe the two would be competing with each other. It's happened before. I mean, Surging Sparks, when that released, everyone was like, man, this set's incredible. Wow, this is incredible. And you know what was the next set after Surging Sparks? Prismatic Evolutions. And you know what happened to Surging Sparks? It didn't really go up that much since then, but people thought, hey, this is going to be insane. So very, very unique time period in the hobby right now. Now, moving on to Crown Zenith, really interesting. I'm going to pull this into the month graph. And if I go here, Crown Zenith was selling for $322. Actually dipped a little bit to $296. So that's crazy to see that Ascended Heroes is climbing like that. Crown Zenith's dipping. Obviously, it's got a higher price premium right now. It's a different market, right? As soon as you start hitting 400 for an ETB, or that 800, $1,000 a booster box, it's a tougher market. The sales don't just happen that instantly like at $150 ETB. If I pull this into the 6 months though, Crown Zenith has had some stable growth. The low point for Crown Zenith in the last 6 months was around 200 US. And you can see right now selling for 301. So yeah, it's definitely grown in the last 6 months. And if I pull that into the year graph, it's even more substantial because last year around this time, Crown Zenith was selling for $146. I mean, to double your money in a year, that's pretty good. But of course, Crown Zenith, if you have watched my videos, the top 10 greatest sets of all time, don't want to spoil anything, but Crown Zenith makes it pretty high on that list. Go check it out. Now, moving on to the Eevee Pokemon Center Stamped promo. I was just talking about that Charmander. This Eevee is pretty interesting. 3 months ago, selling for $65. Right now, selling for $93. So definitely some pretty good growth in the last 3 months. If I pull that into the year, this actual card has had a bit of a unique journey because it's not actually at its yearly high. The yearly high for this card was $114. And then it had a pretty substantial decrease to 63 US. And like I said, right now selling for $95. So it's anyone's guess right now. These Pokemon Center Stamped promos though, they are strong in the market. There's a big push for them. They are sometimes unique, but sometimes I do think as well, Pokemon Center promos, they're a little bit overdone, the hype for them. I get it. You can only get the stock from a Pokemon Center. Like they're exclusive, they're this, they're that, but really they're not textured artworks either. So to me, it does feel a little bit forced in a way. I don't know, real talk. I actually feel people have this massive like fixation on Pokemon Center products, and whether or not their hype, whether or not the quality matches the hype, probably not. Like something that the hype matches the quality to me is the Mega Charizard X. That to me, yeah, sure it's hyped, but come on, man, the card's incredible. Same with Bubble Mew. I get it. Like the hype's incredible. It's a fantastic card and it looks amazing. This, I don't know, Pokemon Center products to me, it just feels like hype way over levels the quality of what you get. Though looking at the Eevee special illustration rare, this card's a guaranteed promo in the Prismatic Super Premium Collection. Now, right now, it is selling for $32. If we look at the yearly high it had was $52. I'm not gonna go back all the way in that graph. You can see that there's, on the chart there, you can see that it had a higher price. Usually when a set releases that they get what I call banana levels, that's a banana pricing, right? Like, and it looks like a banana too, because if I got a banana and I just put it on the screen right there, you would see it's a banana, right? It starts super high, goes down, and then eventually give it 2 years and it spikes up. Now, interestingly, moving on to the Umbreon, the special illustration rare. Low point in the last 6 months was $837. And imagine saying, hey, that was a good price to buy that. Well, it actually was, because right now it is selling for $1,466. Pretty much a $1,500 card, or getting there, right? Insane. Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of this, will this card calm down? I'm not sure. You've also got Moonbron that I personally think is the better artwork. This isn't a fantastic illustration. I have to be real with you. I've always said it ever since this card came out. It reminds me of Majora's Mask, Zelda Majora's Mask. I don't know. It's got that. Love this artwork. I've always wanted to add this card to my collection, but the prices have just been way too astronomical for me to actually commit to that. So that's always been a little bit of a thing that I want this in my collection. But now moving on to the Mega Charizard X, the card that I did say is a card that I do believe is actually worth the hype, because to me, it's definitely my favorite card from the Mega Evolution era so far. Whether it's gonna stay like that, I do like to not have the mainstream opinion. Believe it or not, I actually did not want this card to be my favorite card because it's just like everyone's favorite card. But yeah, it's my favorite card. Pulling this into the 6 months, and we can see the low point for this card was $437 US. Right now selling for $861. So definitely very, very expensive. Whether or not this card's gonna come down, I don't know. If you look at the Umbreon was selling for that price point, like I said, and now it's 1.5K. Will this continue to climb? Not sure at this point. Phantasmal Flames still is definitely in reprint territory, but also you got to remember, pull rates of Phantasmal Flames are not too difficult, but really this is the thing, or the card that everyone wants from Phantasmal Flames. Though it looks like these prices are just going to continue to rise the way they're going, but in terms of that, is there going to be a market slowdown? I really feel that that's something that no one can really predict at the moment, because pricing is just way too volatile, and we've seen a bunch of undervalued cards spike as well throughout this period. Though So one of the key areas when investing in collectibles, especially right now, is spotting undervalued Pokemon cards. And if you do want to know how to spot undervalued Pokemon cards, I do actually explain that in this video on screen here. On this video that's appearing on screen right now, I go into the art of spotting undervalued Pokemon cards. If you enjoyed this video, you're really going to love that next one appearing on screen. I really appreciate you watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and hey, I'll see you on the next video.